Welcome, everybody. It's so great to have you guys. I'm so excited that you guys are part of this task force. Every one of you bring a unique gift to this task force, and I'm telling you now, open up your box and let your gifts out. Whatever they are, we want all of them, okay? So the task force, let's talk about it for just a minute, okay? But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. Give us your name and where you're from and what's your current position. Starting with Christine.
I am Christine Citrano. I know many of you. Rochelle, I'm not sure that we've met before. I reside in Naples, Florida, and I am the Florida State President this year.
Good job. Eileen?
Good morning, everybody. Eileen Oldroyd from Orange County, California, right in between Los Angeles and San Diego. And I'm currently the Women's Council California president. Did I say that right? Yeah.
Yes. And Rochelle, I don't know you, but I've heard fabulous things about you, and I'm so excited. So yeah, your bar is real high, so just okay. Don't worry, you can't fall from it. Okay. But just excited to have you.
Thank you.
This is my first time meeting you, so look forward to tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Thank you, guys. I am from Portland, Oregon. I am the current president of the local network of the greater Portland area. And I actually reside in Lake Oswego, but I've been a realtor for 4 years and I've loved every single minute of Women's Council. I joined right away. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Rochelle. And since you're a newbie right now to this, hey, there's nothing you can say, ask, or do. I want you to just let your shoulders down. I want you to relax. And I want you just to get, there you go. You just be you, because I can see it in you. But I know how I am when I have all these big people on the screen around me. Yeah. I'm nervous. But you have been selected to be a part of this team.
Oh my God, I love you guys.
Yes, all the things that you've done. So you be you.
Tammy, you've never been nervous in your life.
No, I try not to, because God knows I'll fail every time. Rebecca, go ahead, sweetheart.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Rebecca Carmona. I'm the local network president for Miami-Dade in Florida. I'm in Christine's state, so I'm the current president for Miami.
And Elma Guzman, and you're muted, so come on. There you go.
Unmute?
Yes, you go.
Change that. I don't know how that name came up. Good morning, everyone. I am Alma Porras from the San Diego Network. So happy to be here with you.
So good to see you. We're social media buddies, but I very seldom get to physically see you unless we are at convention. So good to see you. And Kathleen, we go so far back. We've served on so many committees together, but it's an honor to have you on this committee with me. And tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from. You're muted.
I'm trying to unmute her. It says ask to unmute, and I'm unmuting. Let me see her.
There you go.
There we go. I'm Kathy Morin, and I am from the great state of New Jersey. I'm the immediate past state president, and I'm their current LAD chair for this year.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this task force. So I think Jeff's going to mute you back, Kathleen, because for some reason there's feedback. I got you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what our goal is. Obviously, the task that we have is for new membership, okay? And our goal is to come up with some things that we can possibly implement on the national level. Doesn't mean that what we're doing in this committee, that national is going to take and run with it. It means that just the committee is going to come together for some thoughts, some ideals, some things that we think may work. And if they like those ideals, they may be implemented, they may be not. I'm hoping that they will be. So we're going to work very hard to give them something that we can do on the national level to help the local presidents bring in membership. Okay, obviously, let's just get all the negative stuff off the table. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of a well, I'll just put it what it is, a racial issue within the United States currently. And we just finished a heated election. All happy where we are, but it was a heated election. So we have some things that have happened. That's in the past. We've served on technology being an issue, renewals being an issue, but we all know what the negatives are. So we're not going to worry about those. We're going to focus on the positives and what we can go through from there. Doesn't mean that you aren't going to have a story based upon some of the negative, but I just don't want us to focus on all the things that have gone wrong and why we can't move forward, because our goal is to push these local networks, assist them, guide them, direct them, love them, hug them, encourage them to bring in new members. We all know we've lost membership. So I'm going to be quiet because I will talk y'all to death. And I want Jeff to jump in here now, because I've given you what Tammy's thoughts are about our task and our mission. And I would like Jeff to just give us some of National's feedback.
Sure
Thank
thing. First and foremost, Tammy, the picture you painted is spot on, and I don't know what I could say to articulate it better. I'll say a couple things though. You know, it's interesting. There's new members and there's renewals, and renewals is something National does, and we have spreadsheets for the networks, and it's an effort driven by National. I'm going to be upfront with you all in that new members happen out of osmosis. One of the things we have I mean osmosis from the perspective of National. I know you're all saying, no, it doesn't happen by osmosis, Jeff. But, you know, that's what we say in our infographics. Networks recruit 3,000 members annually because, you know, the secret sauce, we think, is people go to one of the 1,500 live events every year. They meet some outstanding people. They get a feeling for what the culture is, and they join then and there on the spot. And we rely on that pipeline every year of new members. The other interesting thing is Women's Council. It's a constant ebb and flow. And once somebody joins for a couple of years, they're in. The renewal rate is in and around 70%. The thing with new members is what we've always struggled with is the renewal rate is really about 45%. So chances are they don't rejoin the organization. But I think Tammy articulated it spot on, where we've had a perfect storm of a lot of different things. You know, we had our technology issue last year, which it's getting better, but you know, it's much better than it was before. We've got a pandemic, so that whole part I said about, you know, coming to live events is now gone. And we're on the tail end of our renewal season, and renewals went okay. We had to do a lot this year to renew because at the height of our renewal season in early March is when the pandemic hit. But we were impacted by that, but we did okay. But I'm going to confess that nationally, we've just sat back and new members just come. And now there's a realization with the pandemic that it's time to get a group of thought leaders together, such as yourselves, and begin to think about this, because I'm going to be upfront. We don't have the answers at National. And all of you are on this task force for a reason. I'm going to give you an example. Alma, who I've never met before, they recruited, I believe, and Alma, you can correct me if I'm wrong later, 50 new members, and it was a collaboration and partnership with the San Diego Association of Realtors. And it's things like that, those constellations that we want to connect. Everything is on the table. Whatever this task force looks at and decides, and we may be able to implement right away. So that's a bit of the picture that's painted. You've all been chosen by the National Leadership Team, and we're just glad to have you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. So now that being said, you're now officially workaholics until we get this done. We're not going to waste your time. We want to get into the meeting. So I gave every one of you a homework assignment. What I consider homework, asked you a question. I'm going to start opposite of the introduction, and the question that I asked you was, what is the one thing that you have done to bring in new members or would do to bring in new members? And Jeff is going to time you. You have 1 minute. So when I hold up my pen, that means just like anything else, we can all talk forever. So I'm going to go ahead and
don't worry though, I won't buzz you all out. I'll be typing as you talk. So
see what I mean? He's a lighthearted, y'all. I'm not. I'm gonna show you the pen, okay? So I want Elma, if she could please. I would like to hear your story. I'm really excited.
Okay, can you hear me? I think I'm unmuted.
Yeah, you are. You're unmuted.
Okay, wonderful. Actually, it was pretty simple. Last year, when we transitioned our website from the old website to the new one, it seemed like we had some kind of disparity there. And one of the things that we ended up having to do was to call some of our members and say, hey, and follow up on the renewal. And then some of them had renewed. And so then we had to ask them for proof. And we just thought, okay, that's way starting too negative. We just thought we'd push people away more. So what we decided to do was we did follow up with them, but what we decided was we're just going to keep this positive because that's who we are. And so thank God we have a great relationship with our association. And so we had lunch with them, and this was the past president, Monica, and myself, and put together this idea that they would, because they've sponsored us in the past in different areas. So what they did was they said, how can we help you? So we said, this is what's going on. This would help us. He says, what if we were to sponsor you this much out of the renewals? So it was a collaboration with our association. Now, in that same conversation, I'm asking, how can we help you, knowing that this year I would be president? And so our commitment to them is to increase the RPAC, the number of RPAC contributors within Women's Council. So it ended up being a win-win. We're very happy with that. In fact, we're having a Zoom meeting this Friday with the president. And so again, it's all about the collaboration and really building that relationship and finding out how can we make this win-win.
That's great. So you collaborated with, was that your state, that was your state association?
No, this is our local
Local association. Got it.
Yeah.
And so you basically, through collaboration, you reached out to the local association. One, you confessed, I need your help. We need you. And yes, in turn, they needed you just as much, because Women's Council, you know, we are so known for our RPAC. That is a fabulous tie that both Jeff and I was wondering, how did this happen? And that is, I wrote that down, RPAC. What a tie. Okay. Good.
You know, because I don't know if you know, and if I may just say this real quick, they have to meet a certain number. Otherwise, the association has to contribute this huge number. So by having a larger number of people contributing even just the $20, that helps them humongously.
That's good. That's a great tie-in. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Kathleen, you're next. And we'll do questions afterwards. So if you have any questions for any of the stories, if we have time, then you can ask questions.
There it goes. All right. So this year obviously has been an opportunity to create new ways to reach new members. And so what we have done is not only had each one of our locals follow up not only with the current members, but ask each of the current members to contact somebody that they feel would benefit from joining. So we went back to basics a lot on that, made a lot of phone calls. We also invited them for free of charge to any and all the local Zoom meetings that they were having, which is a lot of benefit. So we're getting new members that way as well. So, and we also have our locals send out newsletters and include potential members in the newsletter database. So they know what's going on, and if they want to be a part of it, they can join. So really, that's really, we also have actually incorporated a large number of the state New Jersey Association officers in our membership. So we're trying to promote the fact that we have a high level of visibility throughout the state.
So in recap, what I'm hearing you say is, that might be me. You went back to the basics.
Yes.
And you went back to that one-on-one contact.
Yes.
And talking to the local officers on the state associations for input and to help and to be a part of it. So, but back to the basics is what you did.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And RPAC, that's sort of back to the basics too, because we've always been known for RPAC, but who would have ever thought to tie that in? Good job. We're going to mute you again, Catherine.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let Jeff mute Kathleen.
Sorry, guys.
There you go. Okay. I'm going da-da-da-da because y'all look like the Brady Bunch right now. Eileen, I got you.
I believe you only gave me a minute. Come on now.
I know. So.
All right, so I wrote it down. I would say one of the most powerful ways to bring on new members are testimonials and stories, you know, where we were, what we've gone through, where we're headed to, and what we've accomplished. And by far, though, that is what has people pen on paper signing up. And so, but I also feel that during the pandemic is where we were able to bring timely and relevant content. And so they were intrigued by the stories that we were telling, but also when we started bringing excellent content is when the members really were like, okay, there's something real here. The other reason why especially women will join is the support and the camaraderie that we give to our members, where it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what your goals are as an individual in your business, personal development or leadership, that we got you. And unfortunately, you know, that they may, but this is where this is where I think we go wrong, is that we overpromise on a state and national level, and we underdeliver on a local level. And that is where a lot of these new members are like, you are not giving me what you promised me. So I think that if we're putting together this task force, is like, how can we bridge the gap between all of us that have an incredible experience with Women's Council to those that have a horrible, a drama experience on a local level. So I think that that's where we can support our local networks.
Okay. So again, you know, so far what I'm hearing or what I heard, and I'll give you a recap: camaraderie, delivering. You talked about testimonials, stories, who, what, where, when, and why.
Yeah, exactly. I think that what I profess when I'm out there and speaking, you know, preaching the good word of Women's Council, is that we are a leadership laboratory or a learning lab or a learning organization, where it's kind of like, we are kind of like boot camp, where people come in and with all different kinds of backgrounds and different stories to tell. And when I tell them that we're here to build you as a leader, not necessarily as a president, just to be a good human, lead by example, that it takes work, that you may get beautiful friendships from this, but I can't promise you that you will. What I expect from you is that you are are professional and that you have great colleagues. Because I think that we promise that you're going to have friends for life, and we do have friends for life, but
Yeah.
they want that, they're craving that, and they may not get it on a local level. It's like they have to do the work. And so when I preface it by saying it's work, leadership is work, you've got to contribute, then I think they kind of understand a little bit more of what they're getting into, that it's not just sitting back and people are going to invite you to have a good time. It's like, it's personal development,
Gotcha.
So that's the other part of it too.
Thank you so much, Eileen. There's a lot of things, and Jeff, I'm jotting some of this stuff down.
So am I, and I just,
so many,
and Tammy, if I could for just 1 second, because I'm going to forget the thought as I listen to everybody, is, Eileen said something interesting, and I want to tell you what we talk about in national circles is when we hear the things like what you just said, Eileen, I believe as well. But when we try to put it into a marketing soundbite and we say, leadership and friendship, we say that stuff doesn't sell. If we don't sell the business, nobody's going to come. But what you said is interesting. I know that's my only comment right now, but we'll move to the business. We'll move to the business part later. But that's great what you just said. I don't know how to package it into
right.
getting members, so it's good.
Rochelle, your turn. Breathe.
All right.
You're good.
So what we do is a lot of what other people, it sounds like this is a people kind of network. So if you really put your focus on the people and make them feel a part of a membership, they're going to value that. So it is the camaraderie. But what we're also seeing is that we started with the phone tree. So we broke down our board members and committees and just reached out to people and asked them what they wanted to see, what they wanted from their membership. And we also were able to bring content with that. We have the CRS state president, regional vice president, and past vice president doing a Zoom call for us. So they're getting their members very interested about Women's Council, and they're very excited about presenting. So we've also collaborated with our local association, and we do their new member orientations. We're getting ready to switch to doing that virtually. And we're just trying to find ways that we can engage. I find that with everything happening, we're doing a lot more virtual events, and we're getting a lot more people that aren't necessarily coming to live events, coming to our virtual events. So it's really great to see like new people, and our board is following up with them after these events and just saying, how'd you like this? And here's more about Women's Council. So we're really hoping to get membership from that, just kind of leverage that. I would just say just really reaching out to people and making a personal connection and making them feel like they're a part of something. People really need that. And I feel like if you can give that to them, they're going to be excited and they're going to continue to renew. That's why I renewed every year, is because I immediately got in and felt like I could be a part of something. Even if you break down like little tasks for people, we're really just trying to say, oh, can you set up that meeting, or can you call this person? And people are like, yes, I'll do that. They're excited. They want to help. And that's just what I found.
And again, you're the fifth person. You talked about camaraderie and follow-up, basic things like a phone tree. Oh my God. I mean, it's called pick up the phone, folks. I mean, seriously, I don't want to see another email. I don't mind a text, but my gosh, the phone, Zoom. I don't want to talk to none of you. I want to see you. Good job. Congratulations for taking that network and doing what you're doing on a local level, because you guys are boots on the ground. And so much of what I'm hearing that has brought us these new members are things that we do every day, but now we have to just pump it up a notch. We have to figure out how we can take what we're learning here, and I still have 2 more presidents to talk to. That's just what I'm getting out of it. I'm like, my God, we do this every day. But maybe we are, but maybe some of them are not. And maybe that's what they need to hear, the testimonials, the stories, and how to do it, and what is RPAC, and those types of things to help things out. So, and your relationship with CRS and collaboration, these are things that we should be doing anyways. So good job. Thank you. Appreciate you. Rebecca from Miami-Dade. She'll show you a good time, folks. Trust me.
We had a good time when you came down here for President's Circle.
She took me in. I didn't even want to go. I was like, then I couldn't leave. So thank you. I had a great time.
Well, let me tell you, everything that I'm hearing that all the others just presented, we are doing. And I commend you guys because you guys are doing a great job and we have implemented it here as well. So we've done all of that you've just heard. I will tell you what we have done that is a little different is we took this on a two-part idea, which is just like real estate in your business, you prospect, membership is a numbers game. So it's the number of touches and presenting the value. Just like as a realtor, you have to have the amount of numbers in order to get the buyers and sellers. It's the same thing with real estate. So, you know, the question is how can we at a national level provide the tools available for the local networks to be able to touch the numbers and to also present the value of Women's Council? Because everything that all of you have just said is exactly the value. It's what we provide. And communication is key to growing the members and keeping the members. But how do you get the numbers, which is the question. So here, what we did, so that now the question is, what can national do for the networks? And what we did here already at a hyper local level is we grew our membership through gaining the information on who the brokers were, who the contacts of those brokers were, and asking them for us to come in at the tail end of their sales meeting for 5 minutes to talk about the value of Women's Council. And so getting in front of new people is getting those contacts. And then of course, gaining those contacts and adding them to a database. You know, we here also created Lion Desk, where we have all of our members and potential new members on drip campaigns. We also know when our members are coming up or on expired. And we know when when their birthday is, who they joined, how they joined, and we've talked to them. We've implemented everything that National has given us, but we've gone a step further. So as this task force, can we, what information can we provide to the networks to help them present the value? Maybe a how-to guide. Okay, like this is how you can prospect for new members. Maybe at a national or state level, if we go hyper local, we can gain that information of who the contacts are and give them on a local network level. So then that way those members and their task force that they create, the project teams that they create, can then reach out and start emailing the contacts to set up meetings. Or if it's like what we did with smaller brokers, because maybe it's not a big broker that has a sales meeting, but a smaller broker, what we did was we actually sent them a email with the value. So then they distributed that email amongst their realtors. A lot of the brokers too, after we visited, we asked them for their contact list and then we put them into our database. So we just basically started growing in numbers. So how can we as a task force create and find this information to give it out of local networks, and how can we prepare them with a how-to guide of how to prospect and apply that just like we do in real estate?
Very good. And I'll tell my story at the end, but again, basics. If you look at it, and I'm a numbers person, so it's a numbers game. How many people do you have to call in order to get a listing? How many people do you have to talk to in order, to take, how many houses do you have to show somebody before they buy? It is a numbers game. And if you only talk to 2 people, then, one of those 2 should join, or hopefully both. But it is a numbers game. And I like how you broke it down. We're gonna come back to each and every one of you, because so far you guys are all you're hitting what I have always considered the basics, the foundation of Women's Council. And you've all have hit it, between the camaraderie, between your relationship with your local association, knowing your numbers, knowing your members, communicating with your members, doing a database, making sure that you're reaching out to them, inviting them. So much of this that you all are doing that is the foundation of Women's Council. So I'm glad y'all aren't saying we got to blow up a ship or something. So this is really good. We can do this. So I got you, Christina. Go on, sweetheart. Your turn.
Well, first of all, I just have to say, Rebecca is such a shining star in my state network of local presidents. I mean, she has really gone above and beyond. She is what everybody really wants in their local president, and I'm so proud of you, honey. You know that. I think that everything that everybody's talking about here is so relevant, and it's relevant whether we're in a pandemic crisis situation like we find ourselves in now, or we're in a completely calm situation. It always comes down to the value proposition. Why should they be a part of this organization? What makes Women's Council so much more special than any other opportunity they might have to network with people and to connect with people? And I think that one of the things that I'm hearing from my local presidents in having these discussions is their members are financially concerned about making that commitment to remaining involved, to maintaining their membership, because they may either financially they don't have the money, or it's, they're trying to decide, should I spend my money here, should I spend my money there? And what again, it comes down to why should I join Women's Council? And I think that is what we as a task force need to be able to provide to them. And yes, it is about making connections, and it's about the collaboration that we get from one another. And we all recognize that, or most of us, I think, recognize that from a national perspective, because most of us are involved on a national level. But to filter that down to the local level, how are they going to interact with one another? How are they going to be able to provide a good value proposition for being involved in their local network? And education certainly is one of the things. I think most people with this pandemic and with this social distancing have stepped up their educational value and provided events for people to participate in that didn't cost them a dime to go to, because they're sitting in their house or their office and participating in that way. And I think continuing to do that. And I think, as was mentioned here before, following up with those, with the people who attend. One thought that I had was, you reach out to, from a local perspective, reach out to every realtor that you know and invite them to a Zoom event. And then follow up with those afterwards who are not members and ask them, what did you think about the event? And then that's when you start really pitching to that person one-on-one the value of Women's Council. And maybe you don't invite them to any other events. It's just that one, and to give them that little taste of what being a member of Women's Council could do for them. And I think that, was it Rochelle, I think, who polled your members to find out, what can we do for you? What do you want for us? Your members are going to tell you, if we give them the opportunity, they're going to tell us what they need, what they want, what they're not getting. And I think that getting that kind of feedback is crucial to growing your members and keeping your members. And it sounds to me from the ratio numbers that Jeff was talking about, really following up and touching base with those first year members is huge. 40% renew versus those who stick around for 2 years, 70% renew. That's a huge difference. So really tasking the local networks to make sure that they are constantly engaging with those new members for that first year is, I think, that is something that they really need to be doing, to try to get them, to move them from that 40% to that 70% number.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. And what I, just to follow up with you again, is again, going back to the basics, education, having the value approach. Each one of you brought a different element. Eileen talked about the level of being able to talk to them via Zoom. There's a lot that has changed. Hopefully we will go back to where we were. That may or may not happen anytime soon, but we have already pivoted. So we're already over there, so we can't go back. We're already over there. So we're in that realm. Just to give you a little bit of Tammy, local level president. I walked into a network that had 21 members as a membership director. And at that time, we were on the verge of closing. This was Metro South. From the moment I took the seat, I saw the need. The need for me was diversity. The need for me was inclusion. I'm a person that has to have diversity. I have to have all kinds of people around me all the time. And what I saw was Metro South was a heart, and it had one artery. Everything else was closed. It had one artery, and it was almost at a heart attack because they weren't going out into the other segments, what I call the highways and the byways, to the big brokerages, to the small brokerages, not just KW, not just Century 21, not just Better Homes and Gardens. I went everywhere. I wanted everybody from everywhere, whether you had experience in real estate or you didn't have experience in real estate. I wanted them a part of Women's Council. And I explained it to the team as such. We're about to have a heart attack and we have no blood coming. There's no blood anywhere. You are scraping at the bottom to get a president-elect, a membership director. I said, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to start a new thing, and it's going to be called Each One Bring One. Because the one thing that I know about Women's Council is we collaborate. We have this bond with each other and with this group that I have heard it be depicted as something out of the norm. Some women just don't know how to accept the fact that we really want you to succeed. My goodness, we really do want you to succeed. And they're like, that can't be true. Well, it is true. And that's the message we have always sent. We do build leaders. And that's exactly where is Rebecca, exactly what I did. Alma, straight to the local associations. You are my president, Mr. Association President. I'm a realtor. You're my president. But these are all your realtors too. So I need you to help me bring Women's Council back to life. I need you to help me with this. And when you start talking about that and you start talking about the value of Women's Council, people listen and people move. The difference is you have to talk it. And so we started an initiative called Each One Bring One. And everybody was to bring one other person that they knew would benefit from Women's Council the same way they did. But not only benefit, bring their gifts and their talents to Women's Council for us to use and for them to share. And we went from a small network about to close to a mega network in less than 10 months. We had a 300% increase in membership. And it's not stopped. It's never stopped. I know I serve on the national level. I know I serve on the state level. But my heartbeat is my local presidents. My heartbeat are our local members. When they call me, I stop. When I'm walking and they want to talk to me, I stop. I'm available. And although we're virtual, we have to figure out how we take that and put it back into this virtual world where they can still touch us, see us, feel us, have that camaraderie. And that's Tammy's story. But it's the basics of what I heard in every one of you. And I'm challenging you all now, today, that this task force is going to come up with something significant. I'm not saying 6 or 7 things, and I don't think we need to recreate the wheel. There is so much in that. In our website now that it's unbelievable. We don't need another trifold. What we need is boots on the ground, either virtually or physically, okay? That's Tammy's goal, but I'm so passionate about these local networks succeeding and us bringing in these new members that I'm challenging all of you to look within yourself. Me and Jeff are gonna take what you just shared with us and comprise some of the things that you guys mentioned to us And on our next call, break down for you some specific goals that we need to meet. In the meantime, I'm just so proud to hear that every one of you done it. I mean, really, I thought we was gonna have to really build, like I said, blow up a spaceship. I didn't know what y'all was gonna come up with, but you are Women's Council. What you said is what we do. We have to take what we know now in the realm that we're in, focus on the positive, and let's give this back to these local networks and let's help them, because we have a goal. And I'm gonna tell you what, y'all wanna know what the goal is? Are y'all scared? Can I tell them, Jeff?
Go for it.
Okay, a goal. And I hope that when we meet for summer planning, that Nationals accepts whatever we come up with as a team, because we have a goal of 2,000 new members between now and October. That's our goal. I said to Jeff, don't tell me to be a task force, because that's not me. Give me a goal. A goal that I will always hit. And if I can't, I will get real damn close to it. But you all are from every part of this nation, and every one of you brought a different spectrum to Women's Council. So now I need you to think not about you, but think about your local presidents. I love the follow-up. I love when we need a database. We do. Some of them don't understand it, just like they don't understand QuickBooks. Okay, but we do. They need to figure out, even if it is a phone tree. Where's my phone tree person? Raise your hand. Even if it's a phone tree, my God, it's going back to the basics. But right now, we need that. They need that touch. And those presidents need that incentive to reach out to new members.
They do. One thing that would really help local presidents is knowing how to articulate the value and brand of Women's Council.
Absolutely.
They know why they joined, and they know why they continue to join, but they don't know how to articulate that. I know that we've had key messages in the past, but I think it's very broad. I think that if we could break it down to maybe 4 pillars that they could easily memorize, and then tell their own story, and maybe that's how we can coach them, is that, you know, we have a few pillars of why Women's Council, and then coach them. It's like, tell your story, tell another member's story.
Absolutely.
You know, and then maybe coach them as to ask open-ended questions with the person that's thinking about becoming a member, and that hopefully that could open up a good dialogue. Very, very similar to a script type thing, but short, easy to remember.
Right.
You know, that they're like, oh yeah, this is why I'm here. You know,
and
I think that would be helpful.
And I think we all know that there, in our network or in our website, there is a plethora of information, sort of exactly what Eileen just said. We already have infomercials that have been created by marketing. We get them new every single year. The RPAC one is phenomenal. Alma can use that and probably increase her state another, I don't know, 30, 40%. Rebecca has a question. Sorry, Rebecca.
No, what I was going to mention, Eileen, is that when I was able to present for National, we talked about the elevator pitch. So I wasn't able to actually do the elevator pitch, but I did see a bunch of people commenting like, what's the elevator pitch? What's the elevator pitch? So if we were able to give them that elevator pitch, like, here is your 60-second or less elevator pitch. If you're in person, you're on the phone, who is Women's Council, why Women's Council, and all the benefits, not all, but the key benefits as to what is impactful to it. So that's what we used here, is we used the elevator pitch to gain all these new members, because you take that elevator pitch and you get in front of the new members at the broker's offices or at the association's offices or wherever you're presenting, and you use that key message, because people tune out after 60 seconds. But you got them for 60 seconds, and you got to hit the key points. So we created an email format as well as a verbal format of that elevator pitch here at a local network level.
Could you send that to me, please, me and Jeff?
Yeah.
And I would just, if I could, I would just say that, I'm sorry, that's echoey.
Kathleen, go ahead.
I would, it's on top of that elevator pitch. I mean, yes, absolutely. Combine the two things that Eileen and Rebecca just said. You have your 4 bullet points. You create an elevator pitch. You learn that pitch. You memorize that pitch, much like you would our mission statement. But then you as the local president, you as the local president-elect, you as the local officer, you add your personal spin to it. You don't want to just be regurgitating some memorized statement. You need to personalize it, but at least give them the basic ABCs of what they should be saying.
Okay, I'm going to switch it up for 1 second, and Jeff, tell me whenever we're ready to cut, because you know me, we'll go on.
Yeah, Tammy, just a quick thought is you know, at National, we're always intent on creating a fancy PDF or a document out of something to post on the website. And I'm hearing 2 things in this call. First of all, 4 of you talked about calling people. You know, we did that for renewals too. We got a telemarketing company. And then the other thing is the elevator pitch. And when we produce documents, nobody reads them. And it's just because people are very busy. Even the recording of this, if we distribute it to network officers, they would all watch it because they like to watch their peers and what they say and what they do. So for an elevator pitch, I'm just wondering if we all do a quick Zoom call and it's a 20-minute call and everybody does their elevator pitch and then we're done. I mean, it's a basic, it's a basic thing. And especially everybody puts their own spin on it. I think it's great. Calling elevator pitches. Gosh, it's so simple.
It is.
No database thing is going to address that. So, fascinating.
But it's good.
Jeff, I also think it's recruiting the right member that could be why our rate is so, 45% of our new members renew, is that we don't want every member. We're the 1%ers. We want the right member. And so maybe that's part of a switch in conversation that we have. It's like, are you willing to do the hard work? Are you looking for support and leadership training? This is the right organization for you. Because why would we want to recruit the masses when the masses are going to leave us? So is this a conversation that we need to have?
Well, a certain past president who I've worked with before, I would always fret about our low new member rate and our renewal rate and this and that. And this now past president said, Jeff, why are you so obsessed with that? Our goal is not to wear a retention badge out there every day. The goal is we are part of the realtor ecosystem, and you want as many people as possible to be touched by Women's Council. And if they are people who came, they got what they want, they moved on to the California Association of Realtors, Miami Association of Realtors, and they tell the masses, you know where I built my leadership skills? I built it at Women's Council. Then we've done our job. And who cares about retention? And it's our job to touch people. So I've always kept that. That's the goal. I mean, there's a life cycle for some. For others, it is a psychological home, and we can be a place for everybody of all types. So I'm no longer obsessed over people who join for the first year and get what they want and leave. It's okay. And if we keep offering value, they come back.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that, if they don't renew, they're not renewing because, as you said, they're getting what they wanted, and not that they feel empty, and that's why they're not renewing.
They've moved on. A lot of them are leaders and have moved on. And anytime they have an opportunity, they accept an award or they receive some kind of accolade, I cannot tell you how many women have come back to, I started in Women's Council. This is where I started, and they give us the accolades. So many.
I agree, but if you look at it, if you're looking at it from a statistical standpoint, and I agree with what you're saying, Jeff, is that we're looking at people that are 1 year and they get out. So I don't know if they do know the value if they've only been a member for maybe even less than a year, they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about here. I'm not going to renew my membership. So, you know, how, you know, do they really know everything that we do? Did they travel to a state meeting? Did they travel to a national meeting? Was it just a local network experience?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay, was that you, Jeff? Oh, Kathleen. I love your idea, Kathleen. That is where I think that we're going with this. There is a fact that people don't want to read as much. The videos is the way to go. Where they want to see people and hear people, not so much read something. So that will be something that this task force will think about as well. You all have given us a lot of great ideas to come from. Go ahead, Rebecca.
I just wanted to make mention, now that we're talking about videos, when I first became involved with Women's Council, I noticed that National does have a recruitment video, but that recruitment video is about 4 minutes long, I believe.
Yep.
It's somewhere around there. And what I found is that that video, it's definitely dated now at this point, but maybe we're onto something. Maybe we could create, because one of the things that I found is that it's too long. At 60 seconds, maybe 90, you got them for 90. After 90 seconds, they're done. They're gone.
Yes.
So what we did is that since we didn't have, and we're very technology down here in Miami, so we didn't have a video that we could really present the why. So that's what we did this year, is we came up with, Jeff, you've seen it, Christine, I don't know,
I
Tammy,
posted it everywhere.
I don't know if you've seen it, but we came up with a 60-second, it might be a minute and 2 seconds, but it's right around 60 seconds. And it involved close to 20 of our members. And we did a 60-second Women's Council Why video. Why Women's Council? And it was a president's message. It was, I think it was like 15 powerful words that each of our members came on and said, and we did different shots to give different perspectives, and then an outro on why they, to consider joining us. So something like that, maybe, that we can provide to the local networks, that they don't have to come up, because they may not have the technology.
Correct.
And so if they don't have access to doing something like that, then we could provide something like that is very powerful, very impactful, that they then can take back and utilize in their 5-minute presentation at these brokerages, because we use that video. So whoever is presenting at the brokers, they go in, they talk quickly, and they show the video. So it's like that.
And with that video, we could, if we were to do that, and it's an excellent video, Rebecca, and I would love to have you share it with everyone here. But in that video, we could also, through the various speakers, tie into the diversity issue. So you are having people from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities speaking about Women's Council, and you're covering the diversity aspect as well.
Correct. Well, and you're on definitely you're on a key. I was just going to try to pull up.
Yeah. Speaking of diversity, open up your eConnect today. I know it's a long video, but it's outstanding. It's worth the hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. And there, for me, there was no other choice, but I had to look out. I had to look at Women's Council and say, do you look like my network? Do you look at my state? Do you look like my industry? And I didn't see that. And I had to say to myself, we have to bring diversity. And the only way to do that is to have inclusion. And it made some people nervous, but when they got over that, they saw the family unity of it. We need that. We have to look at where we are. And again, the different avenues of where you go and get. So you all have brought us such great content that Jeff and I are going to talk right after this and think of some other things that we can do. In the meantime, Jeff, do you have any homework assignments that you want us to work on before our next call, or is there anything else you want to say?
I don't have homework assignments. I think I need to get all of you some videos like Rebecca Carmona's video and so forth. I'm going to tell you this much. Tammy and I will debrief after this, but my thinking before this task force and after listening to you all for the past hour, my thinking of where we need to go with this has changed completely after
Okay.
listening to all of your feedback. Maybe I'll shop a couple of ideas on the next call, but I think maybe some of the ideas I had before this are good, but not as good as this stuff.
And you guys have succeeded. We already won him over. Y'all give yourself something. You know how hard it is to win him over?
I'll be upfront. I
Tough
expected,
cookie, y'all.
I expected feedback like a discount on membership or an awards contest and an extra rebate for networks and all of that, and that's all well and good, but it's about this big.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No,
So
I don't
you
want to go
guys-
on sale. I don't want to go on sale.
No.
And
No.
Jeff, that doesn't work, because if you start that, they're always going to expect that.
That's
That's
what the
exactly
leadership
right.
team said. Yeah.
Yeah,
and they said,
and-
let's talk to the members and see what they say.
Yeah.
And that's why we
Yeah.
have this task force. Let's see if we're on base or off base.
Yeah.
I don't see why we don't share the recording on this task force with, we can put it on our weekly newsletter that we send out, the roadmap, and say, there's a task force. Listen, if you have any ideas, email wcr@wcr.org.
Yes.
And we want new members, and this is the group that's thinking about it. I hadn't thought of doing it. I just pressed the record button so I could take notes, but I'm actually listening to this the first half hour. It's just like a session at National. It's that good. It is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love you, ladies. You rock. See?
Yep, it's a pleasure.
Michelle.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so
guys.
good. Guys, and
I wish
we need your permission. Do we need their permission to send it out, Jeff, or no? We good?
You can send it out.
Okay, you got it.
We already hit yes to recording.
Okay, there you go.
That's right. You already consented. Yeah.
I
You do
consent.
whatever you want with it.
Yeah. Let's Tammy and I'll talk. We'll have another call within, let's say, the next week, 2 weeks max, and let's continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
Sounds
Until then, stay straight, stay safe, stay strong, and we'll see you at the next Zoom. See you Zoom soon. That's how they say.
Zoom
it.
soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a Zoom-tastic day.
There you go. I love that.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
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 Good to see you all.
Bye.
Bye.